The hardest part of a breakup usually isn't the breakup itself. It's what you do in the lonely hours right after, when your pride is gone, your chest feels heavy, and one text message feels like it could either save you or destroy you. Because after a breakup, people don't usually make their worst decisions when they're thinking clearly. They make them at 11:47 p.m. while rereading old messages. They make them after seeing their ex post one normal-looking photo and suddenly feeling replaced. They make them when silence starts to feel louder than the relationship ever did. And if you've been there, you know how dangerous that moment is, because you're not just grieving the person, you're grieving the future you built around them in your head. And that's why this matters. A lot of people think healing after a breakup is about doing the right things. But honestly, in the beginning, it's just as much about not doing the things that quietly make the pain worse. Not doing the things that keep you emotionally attached to someone who's no longer choosing you. Not doing the things that make you confuse temporary relief with actual healing. And one of those mistakes is so common that most people don't even realize they're doing it until months have passed and they still feel stuck. The first thing not to do after a breakup is this. Don't keep looking for emotional crumbs. Don't keep checking if they viewed your story. Don't keep wondering why they liked one post but ignored your message. Don't keep opening your phone hoping for a sign that they still care. Because when your heart is hurting, even the smallest thing starts to feel meaningful. A two-word reply, a late-night follow, a random "hope you're doing okay." And suddenly your whole mood shifts because now you're reading into everything. That's the trap. You stop healing and you start monitoring. You start treating every tiny interaction like evidence. Evidence they miss you. Evidence they moved on. Evidence there's still hope. But all that really does is keep your nervous system tied to them. Your peace starts depending on what they post, what they say, what they don't say. And that's not closure, that's emotional surveillance. A lot of people know this feeling exactly. You tell yourself you're just checking one last time, just one last look, just one last scroll. But somehow that one last time happens every day. Have you ever caught yourself doing that? Not because you wanted them back necessarily, but because part of you still needed to know that you mattered. That feeling is more common than people admit. And that leads to the second thing not to do. Don't use contact as pain relief. This one is hard because reaching out can feel so justified in the moment. You tell yourself you just want clarity, you just want closure. You just want to say one honest thing. But if you're being real with yourself, sometimes what you actually want is relief. You want the ache in your chest to stop for 5 minutes. You want them to say something soft enough to calm the panic. So you text, maybe something casual, maybe something emotional, maybe something you rewrote 6 times before sending. And for a moment, it works. If they reply, you feel a rush. If they don't, you spiral. And that's the problem. When contact becomes your emotional painkiller, healing becomes almost impossible, because now the same person who hurt you is also the person you're using to feel okay again. That cycle can drag on for weeks, even months. Little conversations, random check-ins, half-open doors, nothing fully over, but nothing truly repaired either. And if you've ever lived in that space, you know how exhausting it is. It keeps hope alive just enough to stop you from accepting reality. And sometimes, false hope hurts more than the breakup itself. Now, here's the part people don't talk about enough after a breakup, especially when they're hurting. Don't make your healing performative. Don't post things just to provoke a reaction. Don't pretend you're doing amazing if your entire emotional world still depends on whether they notice. Don't rush into a glow-up, a rebound, or a fake version of peace just because you want to win the breakup. Healing is not a competition. There is no prize for looking unaffected while you're privately falling apart. Some people go quiet and actually heal. Other people go loud because they want to be seen healing. There's a difference. One is recovery. The other is still attachment, just dressed up as confidence. And the scary part is, from the outside, they can look exactly the same. So what should you actually protect after a breakup? Your dignity? Yes. Your boundaries? Yes. But more than anything, protect your mind from making permanent decisions in temporary pain. That means don't beg for answers from someone committed to being unclear. Don't keep reopening wounds just because part of you still hopes the ending will change. Don't confuse being missed with being valued. Don't confuse chemistry with compatibility, and definitely don't confuse the fear of being alone with love. Because love is not supposed to leave you constantly negotiating for basic care, and healing is not supposed to begin with proving your worth to the person who stopped recognizing it. At some point, the real question stops being, do they still care, and becomes, why am I still handing my peace to someone who can no longer hold it gently? That question changes everything, because now the focus shifts. Now it's not just about getting over them, it's about returning to yourself. And that return is rarely dramatic, it's quiet. It looks like not sending the text. It looks like deleting the draft. It looks like not checking their page tonight. It looks like accepting the truth to yourself instead of making excuses for them. It looks like accepting closure may not come from one final conversation. Sometimes closure comes from finally seeing the pattern clearly enough that you stop asking for a different ending from the same person. If that's in that space right now, if part of you is still fighting the urge to reach back toward what hurt you, this is your reminder. Missing them does not mean you should return. Feeling lonely does not mean you made the wrong choice, and loving someone does not always mean they were good for your spirit. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do after a breakup is sit with the discomfort long enough to let the illusion break. Let the silence teach you. Let the distance reveal what the closeness kept hiding. Let yourself grieve honestly, but don't keep volunteering for more pain just because pain feels familiar. And if any part of this felt personal, I'd really love to hear from you. What do you think people do after a breakup that hurts them the most? And which part of healing do you think nobody prepares you for? If you want, share your experience in the comments. Someone reading it might feel less alone because of you. And if this gave words to something you've been feeling but couldn't explain, stay close. There's a lot more to say about love, attachment, self-respect, and the patterns people ignore until they finally break them. Sometimes one honest video doesn't fix your heart, but it can help you stop making it bleed.